Oh, you know what? It would help if I got on the right joint. I was following the wrong line. It's not that one, it's this one. That does make a big difference. It takes a while just getting all these little lines all put back in and run back down and fed through the right holes and little spots and all reconnected. So, okay, that's got that. Well, now that I got all the small lines and everything like that, injectors, injector lines, and everything like that all tightened down and run, I'm going to call that an end of this video. So my next video will be getting the air filter assembly, the tubing, which will also include putting the fuel filter assembly on right here as well. And then let's see here. Once I get that, it'll be basically ready to start putting oil into it and some antifreeze and that kind of stuff. So we're not too far from being able to fire this big guy up. So take care. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, now my next project is getting the fuel filter assembly hooked back here on the side of the engine. It's got held on by these two, look like 3/8 bolts, one on each end. And then after that, I've got here's the ether injector assembly. I've got to get that mounted back on. I had the alternator on the thing, and I took it back off when I was putting all the injector lines and that kind of stuff on, so I need to get that put back on here in time. I may leave it off here for a little while longer, and it just gives me more room to work in this area. But yeah, once I get the ether, then I've got to put the air filter housing all back up inside of here. And so, let's get started. Okay, hopefully you can see halfway decent. I've got the camera kind of balanced up on top of the fuel pump. Right here is the fuel filter assembly. And got to get it situated up underneath you like that, roughly, and start getting the bolts put into it. Okay, let's get the back bolt in. Now if I can get the thing lined up, get that front bolt started, that'll work. Okay, that's got the front bolt in. And now I got to, trying to see here, I've got to get this fuel line hooked in. That might work right there. Oh, I forgot to tie that thing on. That's part of the throttle cable deal. Didn't even see that down underneath there. Let's take and spin this bolt right back out. We'll get that thing. There we go. Get it sitting up against her like that. Run the bolt back through. And now it should, yeah, there we go. Thread right back into the side of the block. There we go. Just the throttle cable or deal. Now let's see if I can get that. Hey, there we go. Spun on. That's the, oh, I call it a taper fit for the fuel line. Getting the fuel line hooked up. And that part of the line comes from the lift pump. which is the little pump here on the side that actually runs off of the side of the injector pump to supply fuel into it. And then let's see here, got this other line here coming around. This comes from the filters into the injection pump. Get that thing hooked in. Now I need to grab some wrenches, that way I can start tightening stuff down. And now that I got these lines run, I can also take and run the top feed line to the turbo. Well, wait a minute. I may do that now, or I may actually do that after I get the air filter assembly put on. That way I won't end up hitting it accidentally. Getting these lines tightened on. Okay, there's that one. Now I gotta get this bottom one where it feeds into the bottom of the filters. I can get the right wrench. There we go. 5/8. Okay, once I get these here, my next project is going to be getting the air filter assembly put up in here. Before I run or get the air filter assembly put up in there, I gotta get this vent tube hooked up to the valve cover. That hooks in right here. And this here is actually the tube that the tractor has always, come on, there we go, get that plugged on, has always pushed a lot of exhaust out through this tube. And it comes out right down here on, oh, can't really see it too well, but it comes down right up through there. Just blows right straight, it blows right down at the ground. I mean, you're always going to have a little bit of a vent because of air displacement coming out from the crankcase, because as your pistons go up and down, you're going to have a certain amount of air displacement. But yeah, it's always had a lot of compression blow by coming out this. But now with all new pistons, rings, and sleeves, that should stop all that. Okay, now I need my bit driver. We'll tighten that thing up. Okay, we'll get that thing tightened up and be good to go. All right, let's got that. Okay, just looking around here, that should be everything. This little wire right here, this is the electrical wire for the ether injector. That actually mounts right there. And just looking at it, I am going to hold up on putting that up in here until I get the air filter pushed up underneath here. It'll give me more room to work with. So I'm gonna get the air filter. Okay, well, hopefully you can see halfway decent. Trying to get this air filter assembly popped up underneath here. You know what, I'm gonna actually take these hydraulic lines off. That's got to sit clear up on top of that thing. However, they also run across here and lock down. Maybe I can take the top half off. In fact, maybe just take the whole thing off altogether for right now. There we go. Well, probably kind of bouncing around right there. Okay. Well, we're getting there, getting close anyway. In fact, the holes are basically lined up on top of that antifreeze deal, because it bolts to the top of that. However, I'm going to have to run around the other side. Hopefully that thing don't fall off. Because these bolts have to go down through them holes right there. See if I can kind of turn you around a little bit. Well, it's easier said than done. Okay, well, I ran around over here on the other side. That way, if I can at least get one bolt in, that'll hold the thing in place. I think that one started. Yep. Okay, there we go. Now let's get the other three in, and then I have that part mounted right there. And then I've got to, well, the ether can mount. It actually hooks onto the other side underneath this thing to help support on that side over there. But we'll get these bolts here all in first. Okay, got all four bolts put in. Getting all tightened up here. There we go. And then let's see here. I've got in fact, now that I got the air filter on, I'm going to go ahead and run the turbo feed line up here to the turbo, because it's actually going to come up underneath the air filter, so that's why I held up till now to put that on. Okay, one more and now I have that. Okay, now that I got the air filter all, well, those four bolts tightened in, this here is the turbo tube. And if I can just, yeah, there we go, get that pop past that, then pop back on to that thing, that'll have it. Yep. Take and loosen up that hose clamp. There we go. Got to get it shoved on far enough that way I can get this back part to plug together. There we go, it plugged on. And this right here, oh, you know what I got to take that thing hook on one of these bolts right here. That is the, oh, it's the air filter or air restriction sensor. Now myself, I don't really have a whole lot of confidence in them things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Supposedly it's supposed to notify you if you got a restriction in your air, if the air filter is getting plugged full of dirt and you got a restriction. I'm not too sure how well they work though. Okay, let's see. Hey, we're hooked together there. Now, get you kind of moved around there. We'll get this clamp pinched together here on the turbo. Uh-oh. Oh. Well, my clamp broke. Oh, wait a minute. Either it broke or it came apart. Maybe it might have actually come apart. Yeah, it did come apart. Let's see if we can take and run him back together. Get that end hooked back in. Might be able to take and screw it right back together. We can get the bite. Well, it appears to be drawing down. Or so I thought anyway. I may have to get another clamp. Yeah. It keeps wanting to catch. I'm pretty sure I have another clamp that size. I'll just throw a new clamp onto that. Okay, I found another hose clamp, so getting her tied down here. Yeah, there we go. All right. That part's hooked on good and tight. And let's see here. Grab a 9/16 inch if I can get down in here. We'll hook this grounding wire back up. After I get this grounding wire hooked in, then I'm going to take and put the turbo oil feed line on. Okay, here's the oil line. It's got that little gasket that sits right down top there. And now if we can just get that thing to line up. Well, the bolts that want to drop through that. Come on. That might have gotten, and they got one started. Let's see if we can get the other one started. Well, maybe not. Oh no, okay, it started. And then we'll hook the other end of this line up. There's a port right on top of the oil filter assembly. So, okay, looks like a 1/2 inch. Reach over here and grab my wrench. All right, let's get that. Got the top part on anyway. We'll get the bottom part on, and that line will be ready to roll. Right here is the other end of the turbo line. It just hooks on right here. And then it's got like little, probably can't see it too well. It's got like a little grommet clamp deal that bolts on about halfway up there on top of the valve cover. Okay, all right, that's got that part tightened down. Okay, trying to find a good spot to set the camera at right here. But I got this tube, and this is what the stand pipe for the air intake sits on. Yep, it would help if I pulled all the bolts out of the thing. Okay, I got all the bolts out. So let's see if we can get this on. That part goes underneath there. This brace arm actually bolts up and supports that hydraulic block that the camera is actually sitting on right there, that you're bouncing up and down on. And then this piece right here bolts to the elbow where the muffler attaches. Let's see if we can get everything all hooked in. And back here on the back, it's supposed to plug on that tube, if I can get it. Well, I thought anyway. Yeah, for some reason that don't want to line up too well. Not sure why. Being cold does not help. That rubber does not want to stretch. May have to see if I can find my bit driver and kind of open up this hose clamp a little bit. Okay, I got that clamp loosened up. Now let's see if we can get that tube popped on. Not sure why it's going so hard though, because it all came off. I got everything all put back on the same way. May have to get a small screwdriver to help get that to line up. I can get that to pop over. Okay, let's see what happens now. That elbow that the muffler sits on, I loosen that up and it allow it to kind of go forward a little bit. Let's see if that made enough room to be able to get this tube on. I'm not sure though. Maybe not. Well, so far no go. Okay, well I'm having to keep playing with different things to try and get some more room made. I took 3 of the mounting bolts out that hold that elbow on, just to see if I can make that pivot forward. to give me some more room back here. Huh. Well, it's getting closer. And it'd sure help if that rubber hose wasn't cold. It does not want to, there's a little lip. It does not want to pop over. Hey, there we go, finally. Okay, we're on. Let's see if we can keep it that way. Okay, so far everything else looks good. Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, there's 4 bolts. I had to take 3 of them out. And that way the elbow would pitch forward enough to allow that to fit up in there. So now I'm going to take and put them bolts back in. And right here, this is that mount. Get these bolts popped in. And I got 4 of these that bolt on to the exhaust elbow. So I get them in, and then I'll put the 2 long ones in that hold that block that I just had the camera sitting on. All right, there's that one. I'm not exactly, well, I guess those are grade 5. At first I thought they were grade 8s. I was going to say, just for this, it sure don't need to be a hardened bolt, but whatever. Okay, I just got the 2 bolts put through this block piece, so I get them tightened down. And then I've already got all the other bolts all tightened up here for the air intake, for the standpipe piece where the air intake standpipe hooks onto. We're all good to go there. Surprisingly, the bolt on that one didn't turn. Maybe this, well, maybe not. And there goes my phone ringing. That's a text message. All right. Well, hey, that'll work right there. Perfect. Well, now I'm getting ready to put some antifreeze in this thing. Now that I got the air filter and all that kind of stuff all hooked up. You know what, it wouldn't hurt to double check to make sure that the antifreeze drain is turned off. Okay, the antifreeze drain is turned off, so we're good to go. We run this John Deere Cool Guard. It's a 50-50 premix, but in fact, actually all of our main tractors, the combine, we run this in. It helps to protect against capitation on your sleeves and that kind of stuff. Also helps to protect against electrolysis and that kind of thing as well. But if it works out here a little later on the day, I'm hoping to get this tractor fired up and running. But I want to take and put my antifreeze in, that way I can plug in the block heater and get the engine warmed up nice and warm to start it a whole lot easier. Okay, there's one jug. Now I gotta put some more in. Okay, well, hopefully you can sort of see halfway decent. I'm working on getting this ether can remounted back up underneath here. got one bolt that screws into the side of the head. And then it's also, it's got a little brace arm that comes up underneath. Let me see here. It's got that big bolt right there. Then it's got this little brace arm that goes underneath the air filter canister, like that, just for added stability. So let's see here. I'm not trying to find a spot to hang the camera. That way it's out of my way, but yet you can see. I think you might be able to see right there a little better. We'll get that bolt tightened down. Before I get it too tight though, I gotta get the bolt hole for the bracket lined up. Got this bracket right here, and a bolt goes right through there. And then there's that hole right there for that top bolt. Let's see if we can get this one here started first. Or so I thought. Yep, a little bit off. There, getting closer. Maybe push it in a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's got that one. I might have taken my old gloves off. Okay, pop right through there. Get that little jam nut spun on the back. I would put the bolt through from the back, but it's too tight up against the valve cover. Hey, I think, yeah, there we go, it started. Okay, well, I'm going to tighten this one and that one, and then I'll finish tightening the big one right down there.